this afternoon, because what do you mean it's 9 o'clock? It's still morning, yes. And you, what? Guys are wide awake, ready?
Morning people.
What's that?
Morning is people.
Yeah, morning is a necessary evil. Okay, how many people do we have? Well, we have the class, and we have 4 participants online. Just wait for a couple other people to turn up.
What?
All right. Well, at least I got this one then. Okay. So you guys are here. We're recording this anyway, so it doesn't make sense wasting time. This morning we have a student from social work who has a mobile app project that she would like you guys to help her with. Her name is Meg Lindemann. And she has. Meg, can you hear us? You can unmute if she's on. Yes, she can hear us. So Meg, when you're ready, you could always come on and tell the class, give them an idea of what it is you're doing and what you'd like them to participate in.
Also, on behalf of the software engineering class, we'd like to say thank you for taking out the time to come to speak to us. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Did you win?
What?
Moving on, go ahead. Can you hear us, Meg? We can't hear you yet. See if we can get her. Well, she's on. Yeah, she's unmuted, but we can't hear her. There you go.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Meg.
Okay. I said thanks so much for having me. I appreciate you guys taking the time to hear me out.
No problem.
Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen. I just have a super quick presentation that I made, but I'll tell you a little bit about myself. I'm an international student from York University, and I'm working at Sunshine Early Stimulation Center, which is in Bridgetown, and it's a school for special needs children. But that kind of ranges from students with severe physical disabilities to also children who are on the autism spectrum.
Okay.
So with that being said, you know, we function as a not-for-profit organization, which can be a lot because we serve a lot of families, and all of these families require different things for the children, different therapies, different kinds of like devices for their kids in terms of accessibility, so wheelchairs, braces, and there was a
chopped up the internet connection. Yeah, she's on campus, so you know it has to be useful. Yes. All right. Well, you got dropped off. We'll wait for you to come back. Your audio.
Let's start slandering before you.
I'm not slandering you, his name.
Can
you there? Me? Yeah, we can hear you. Okay.
Okay. Sorry. I'm like half in the Wi-Fi zone, kind of, but not really.
Yeah. See. Okay, go ahead. Go on.
Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to share the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yeah, we see your screen, yes.
All right, cool. So I'm just going to go ahead and present this. Here we go. Start at the beginning. Okay, so my degree is a Bachelor of Social Work, but I also went to college for social service work.
Right.
So Sunshine, our mission statement is, under the banner of integrity, we celebrate the strengths and differences of all children in an environment of mutual respect and acceptance. We embrace families and craft the most creative path to development where a child will shine. So I work under the family counselor, and I wanted to develop this app because I was noticing a really big gap between parents who had their children diagnosed and the follow-up after diagnosis. And there really is no follow-up in Barbados for families who have children with special needs.
Mhm.
So what I wanted from this app, in collaboration with Sunshine, was to kind of create a resource where parents could access information about services after diagnosis, to make it a little bit easier for them to cope with diagnosis and ultimately give their child what they need in terms of therapy or devices, or even just counseling for themselves.
All right.
So my focus of the app is to increase accessibility for parents and as well as community growth and development.
Okay, cool. Mhm.
So I would like it accessible through Android and iOS. And to just keep in mind, I don't know anything about mobile app development at all. So I'm completely new to this. So bear with me for not really knowing a whole lot of the terminology.
That's fine.
So the way I would like the app laid out is to have it in categories when you open up the app. So there's things like restaurants, therapists, parks and recreation, shopping centers, gynecologists, dentists, doctors, etc. Children who are on the autism spectrum sometimes have also something called a sensory processing challenge. So things like shopping centers can be really, really overwhelming because they're not just seeing all the people, but they're hearing all the sounds. They're hearing sounds from outside. They're hearing cash registers. So it becomes a really traumatic experience for a child.
Right.
And for people who don't understand that or don't have that, it just looks like a kid is misbehaving, but really they're experiencing a lot of traumatic things.
Right.
So it may seem small. It may seem like, why would you include shopping centers in an app, or why would you include things like babysitters, like respite? But for these parents, it's huge, and for these children, it's huge as well. I also wanted to make sure that there was a component of affordability. I know Barbados is a small island, and I am under the understanding that things are really expensive because it is an island. But I want to include in my app the cost of different services, so like maybe a range between least expensive to most expensive. There's also a lot of programs that offer subsidy and grant offers, but I would ultimately like the app to be free if it's possible. Again, I don't really know a whole lot about app development, so I don't know if that's a thing that can happen, but that's my hope.
Okay.
I would also like a portion of my app to be like set up with locations. So when you click on, the name of like Sky Mall, it can pop up on kind of like a Google Maps, so that you can find it.
Mhm.
Just in terms of accessibility for parents, because I know that there are parents that I work with who are not actually from the island, so it would be helpful.
Yeah.
I'm leaving the creativity really in the hands of y'all, because I'm new to it, and I totally would love creative input and what y'all think would be best. And that's it. And if you have any questions or concerns, my email is just on the bottom there. But I really appreciate y'all taking the time to hear me out, and I hope that I can get somebody on board to help me, because it's really a labor of love for me.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Meg.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
All right. Hang on a second. Anybody has any questions? Anybody want? No?
Well, I actually had a question.
Zach has a question.
Yeah, restaurants. What was that about? You have restaurants at the top of the list.
Yeah, she mentioned that.
Sorry, I can't really hear.
He was asking about restaurants. Why did you have restaurants at the top of the list?
Yeah.
The list, honest, is not really in most important order. I just kind of wrote things down. But restaurants are important for parents because there's always the element of wanting to go out with their kids, and some restaurants aren't wheelchair accessible. They're not accessible for children with special needs. So it's important to have things like that available, and knowing where you can take your child and where they're going to feel safe.
Okay. All right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay.
It does. Can you get a copy of the PowerPoint for reference? This is being recorded, Karine, so all you have to do is come back to the video and you can watch it, right?
I can also send it out in an email to you, Dr.
Sure.
Good.
And I'll be able to upload it to the court, to the class.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. So while she's here, because like I said, it's being recorded, so if you have additional questions, you could always ask now. So at least then you can always come back to this as a reference point. Anything else from anyone? Yeah. Time frame. What's your time frame?
My time frame, I'm only here until the beginning of June. I'm happy to continue working on this after I leave, though.
Okay, so, all right. So you're finishing, when do you have to, because aren't you going to have to test it and all that, deploy it, and are you?
I don't have a time frame through Sunshine of when they want it to be completed. I just decided that I want to do this, and I created the idea.
Okay.
So really, it's on my time frame.
All right, but let's just say the end of, so you're here to the end of June, you said?
I leave the beginning of June.
Beginning of June, so end of May. Okay, that's a good time frame for what I'm thinking, at least.
Okay.
Okay. Other questions, anyone? All right, Meg. So we'll be in touch. All right, and I'll let you know what we're coming up with.
Okay.
And anybody who wants to follow up with you, I'll give you their contact information.
Amazing. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thanks. You too. All right.
Bye.
What are you talking? Hey, we still walking. He's a friend of direction.
I'm fine. How are you? All right. All right, troublesome students. Students who are mine. Okay. Where's everybody? Where's Mona? Yeah, Mona is only Cynthia. Is only Cynthia?
Is Cynthia Mona?
Ashley is there. Yeah, okay. I only see two Mona folks. Where's everybody else? Tevin, yeah, it's Mona. Anyway. Right. Okay, so this is the deal, folks. I put up assignment 2. Oh, he's here. Huh? I put up assignment 2. Assignment 2 is due. Yeah. No, for regular.
I want to make sure I read this properly. If we submit this thing on the 22nd, I get over 70. I get 10% extra.
Something like that.
What happened to this?
Or 10 marks or something. Read it carefully. 10% of the assignment. I don't think it's 10% of course mark.
That's fine. I still understand.
So if the assignment was worth what, 50, you get additional 2 points.
So my question is this. I'm sorry. My question is this: if this is only if I submit from the form tonight
and get over 70.
However, if I submit it by the 23rd, I will not get the extra.
No. Right, but if you get yourself over 80, if you get yourself higher marks, then yeah, that's all. You know, it's just a little incentive to submit on time, and so I don't deal with lates. So you get a bonus for submitting on time.
Yeah.
Right, that's basically it. Did you explain the assignment for who? Last table. Do we make 1 page or several pages?
So we're doing a run through of the what do you call that?
Several
The
pages.
assignment. We're doing a run through of the assignment. We're just gonna go based off of what's on.
Yeah, I could go through. No, I'm not going to go through that. You just go with what is there for now, because there's still like some of the stuff that's referenced in the assignment. We haven't gone through in class yet, but that's what I was going to tell you about. Okay, so this is what, week 10. All right. Yes, it is. Now the rest of this is week 10 or week 11. This is week 10, right? Or week 11.
It's like 9.
It's 10. Thank you. And you are visitor, huh? Yes. Welcome, honorary visitor. Thank you very much. Which code for what? Oh, sorry. Where is that? Yeah, I had it just now. It's 300. 735 947. Yes, last day school stay. Let's not digress. Let's focus.
Sir, I want to ask a question. All right. I don't want to ask this earlier. Will we get paid?
this is what I was telling you.
Let me hear this. It's good luck for this one.
Yeah, you gotta save up for this one because you remember there are 2 assignments and a report.
That's what I was asking if I would get paid.
2 assignments and a report. The report will be replaced by this assignment, that the Meg's project.
Whoa.
How much is the report worth?
30.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's if we choose to do it. That's how we choose to do it, right?
No, I'm not saying you don't choose to do it. So you do it.
Oh, we have to do it. So the report. So this is replacing a report.
Replace the report. Right.
Next question.
You understand what I'm coming?
No, I'm trying to understand the report. The report would have been based off of what?
It
Like,
would
would have designed.
Yeah, it'd have been some little hairy-fairy thing again. Come up with a project, write it up. It would be like, huh? Yes, it would have been that kind of thing. You had to come up with the idea, come up with the thing on top.
Next question
No.
is, are we doing this?
I'm saying, huh?
We do that. We can develop her
As a group, all y'all could get together in one big clump and do it.
And then all of us.
So what about Mona?
Where's
All right,
Mona?
I have no problem with that.
Yeah,
Somebody wrote on this one for you.
Tevin's there. Tevin says he's there. Right. So yeah, you don't have. You could work. Yeah. You could work. Right.
You would take on that whole project by yourself?
It depends on how big the
Duo,
project.
trio, big man. I'm working very with 10.
You did the whole project by yourself?
It's up to y'all.
Duo or trio.
I will justify. I will specify. So that's what I'm thinking. Instead of because her deadline is the end of May, right? Which is fine. You guys still have exams
So like the 18th.
of May. That's it's going to be tricky because I don't think I'm allowed. This is still an undergrad project. No. We can't run like that. That's going to be tricky. Yeah.
You know how many things are going on in this for this program?
I don't care about what other people doing. Right.
Sir,
Someone get somebody.
our semester coming into exams, they will still teach.
No, you can't do that.
Still teaching. And we still
Alright.
expect you to do the same exam.
All right. Well, this is not exam. This is a project. This is a project for the 30 marks. So
So no projects are supposed to go past examination.
all coursework has to be done before exams start.
So I would just maybe have to finish.
And then is there stipulated time frame for coursework marks to actually put people on?
There is, but there is.
So I
But
think we took the salary.
If you want to start going down that road, you know.
No, I'm just curious. Last year.
So why you just do the 30%? We promised you to do
No, we can't work it out either. Because then somebody goes back and audits the course and they go, oh, where's the work for this 30% that you magically give it? Yes. Right? So we can't do it that way either. So that's what I'm thinking because it's an interesting project, right? And it lines up with what we were doing in class in that Android, iOS, right? You could do your adaptive, you could do you could do the hybrid application. It's going to involve geolocation, which is all of that's in here already.
My next question was, how do you make it for Android or Apple?
Just
Give him that.
Just do it like the normal web thing that we've been doing all now.
You mean the MIT app, is it?
No.
No, you could do it as a. You could do HTML, CSS.
Remember how we were talking about native and other things?
Right, and also we haven't done jQuery mobile, which is 2 slides, and which is part of your site, which is part of assignment 2. So by the time you finish assignment 2, right, you will have more or less all the tools that you need to build, a mobile web kind of app. And like I said, it will run on both Android and iOS, right? And it's a proof of concept. She gets it for free, and you'll have all the stuff that you need, the geolocation and all that sort of thing. Right. Yes.
Sir, I want to use the app on TV.
Exactly, you'll be able to use it on a CV. It's a separate project.
Obviously, it's technically.
It is a project, right? You're doing it for free. You're getting the grades. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to.
You could use the code that you designed. That'll be on your laptop.
If it's on my laptop, I have to pay for it and I cannot use it already.
Well, yeah, because the person is paying for it. Yes, but you aren't going to you're not going to take this, develop it, and then you're going to go on to upload a different autistic. You can say you did it.
I did it.
What? So
You don't need to show them the code.
Exactly.
I can do work for it. They had this.
What about screenshots? Would you be limited that you can't show screenshots?
Anyway, that's digressing.
That's more legal stuff.
All right, so that's what you're. I don't believe so. I think for the benefit of everyone involved, you will have contracts because at the very least, it's her idea. But we have it recorded, right? It's her idea. She brought it to us. Right. It's her idea. She brought it to us, right? Implicit in this is that she is hiring us, even though we were volunteering the services as the thing, and your payment is your grade instead of monetary. You don't have to do it, right? But the thing you have to remember is you can't go and take the code that you've developed based on her idea and then use it to create a similar app.
Wait, sir, question. Let's say that multiple ones right?
It doesn't. Yeah, she picks the one she
Right,
wants.
she picks the ones that she's taking. However, I may not necessarily be able to put. So let's say mine don't get. Let's say she doesn't accept mine. If I can't say I can't put it on my CV.
Yes, you can.
I still can.
Yes. You gotta understand, it's still part of your CV. It's a project you've built. You've built it. Just because it wasn't selected doesn't mean that it's not something. It goes on your CV. Right? Yes, your game can go on your CV. Anyone else has questions? All right. I'm thinking that next week is going to be. Yeah, put it on. Is it any good?
I'm actually gonna finish it.
Okay.
Because it's functional. Just a certain degree.
Yeah, put it on. That's why I tell all students. It makes no sense building all this stuff and then you don't put it on your CV.
Yeah.
Your project.
My thing is functional. So it's going to be I'm going to keep upgrading it. So I'm gonna add it.
All right, so
Mine is pretty well. I just have to make it extra. Have to create a base.
I have to put tiny database in it.
But like,
okay,
Because you're doing a user.
let's get started.
yeah, it's
I have to do some database.
This class never ends. Well, life ends, but this class doesn't.
in a little database.
This class just goes on and on.
Oh, wait, question. So, what do you name? Kid, Kevin, Dante, Robert, Dante.
I say kid. Robert.
He worse than me. I ain't calling for the kid.
You in a group of 2 Mona students?
No.
You in a group of 2 Mona
I
students?
don't know.
Excuse me. You in a group of
Okay.
You in a group of 2 Mona students?
It was an honor being in this class.
It was an honor having you for the short time you were here. All right.
You might be the exception.
No, everyone has to get into more kids. And then the last term should have it. 2 kids.
Antonio ain't here. I don't know if he has.
Antonio is not in 2 is not in 2. Me and Kareem from the group with Janelle, but I can't have they have to compete or they have to.
Of course, we did.
Actually, I'm
All right. All right, can we get started?
Mona and a kid.
Is this for my class? No, it's not.
No,
it's not.
not.
No. Let's just get this over with, please. So, yes. Week 10. February. So I'm thinking that next week will probably be the last for lectures. I'm thinking, but like I said, this is slide deck 6. We're still on, and there are like 5 more to go. 5 more decks, not 5 more slides. So, but most of the stuff is reference stuff, but we still have a class quiz to do, right? I don't know you guys still think about it as in, sir, you didn't stand up and talk about the things that I could read about on the slide, so we didn't go through it in class, so I don't know what you're talking about, even though you guys can all read. You get my point? Like, yeah, it's kind of salty, I know. But it's the truth. You know, I would tell y'all, here are the slides, right? You're going to be tested on them, and then the first thing I'll even have to, so every day go through them in class.
That's why your first series is what is that?
Huh?
School mentality.
Yes, no.
Okay.
Right.
Anyway,
Anyway,
we're gonna make class in high school anyway.
yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. The only thing I'll probably do, so I'm going to go through this, and then next week we're probably going to talk a little bit about the assignment sort of stuff. And we're going to use the opportunity next week to probably again get some more. Well, let's see how we work it out with Meg. I'll put up how we could probably do the assignment. Not probably. How assignment 3, the replacement for the report, which is the Sunshine project, right? How that will be taken care of in terms of marking. I would probably have to limit the groups to probably a maximum of 4, right? But there's 9 here, so that's 5, 4. Maximum is 4. Okay, just so it doesn't become unwieldy, right? Same thing for Mona. Mona, just because she's here in Barbados doesn't mean that you aren't. Of course, you are part of the community, but this is for marks, right? And that's the beauty of being online, because you could do it anywhere. All right, so let's finish up these. Okay, I'm at slide deck 83, so this is almost the end. This whole thing about event handlers and event handler functionality, right? We talk about return values and how you can put up false. You could make a return value for a JavaScript function false so that it doesn't perform its default action in response to an event.
I'm trying to figure out what that means. So it makes a form.
Right. So this is saying if the person didn't enter anything in a field, right, return false, so that it doesn't it doesn't submit the data to the PHP script.
So that means my if a single.
That just says this person. Okay. This keyword we talked about. Did we talk about this already? All right.
So
Yeah, we talked about click a bit. All right. So this basically refers to the current object. It means that you're setting a function to a property of a document. Remember we talked about this functions of property of a document and that sort of stuff, which works will be a method. And all right. So all of this means that the keyword refers to the target element. So when you assign a method, so you created an object that has a method called my method, right? And you assign that to the event handler on click, okay? When you actually start coding it, you're referring to it, you're actually using, you have to use, you don't see a function, right? This refers to the object itself. So this will refer to the full object.
I don't. But so where's this being?
No, you haven't seen this because I was hoping I had it, but no, right, I can't touch this thing. Right. You see the my method. If you say inside the function, you will actually say this dot my method. Say this as possible.
Oh, so it can would O be used for something else?
Well, O can be used. O and this would be the same thing in that case.
So
Right, because O is the object. Yeah, this would be so when you're assigning variables and that sort of stuff, you say this, referring to the current object. Okay. All right. So this is where we're talking about scoping and scoping of event handlers and that sort of thing. Okay. Now lexical scoping. JavaScript functions to be lexically scoped. That means they run in the scope in which they're defined, not in the scope from which they're called. That makes sense, right? Y'all understand what that even means? Right.
I think
So-
I do. I think I do.
Tell me what you think it means.
So if I guess if let's say if I create the function, let's say this is the tag, sorry. So let's say I have the paragraph tag and I create a certain function. I can only use it within the scope of the paragraph tag. Am I? I don't.
All right, that's a good start. Yeah, it's a good start. Yeah.
You know, when
That's
we
what
call
I'm
it, we
Like?
Dude, you got
So
to
if-
here.
Pardon?
So people can hear you. Yeah.
So the function itself can run as you are in the function. So when you call it any, say you do name and then function separate. When you call it anything, it will not run anything. It will go back to the function and run until there is a return value, and then go back into the game. understand that? So the scope of the function. So
Okay.
once,
All right.
so once the how do you say, conditions of the functions are still are unfulfilled. Once they are still valid, once the conditions are still valid, everyone until it gets
It's not until its completion or
Until
the
it's
event handling or something like that. Until it's met, it has set conditions, and until these conditions are met, it will keep running.
Right. Okay.
When the conditions are met, we should keep running. Which is the thing.
All right.
That's it.
You get in there. So if you were to take the idea of C or C program, so you declare your functions, right? And so you declare function A, B, and C, right? And then inside, so A, B, C, and D, right? You declare them. Then inside your code, you create function D, right? And inside of function D, you call function A, right? Right? In C, function A now has the scope of function D, right? Because you'll not be able to see the variables and all that stuff that's inside. Yeah, not see what's inside there.
Oh,
Right.
That's why in order for a function to use another function, the function that it has to work.
Right. Right. So you'll be able to see it, right? And it'll be scoped in there. JavaScript doesn't work that way. If we created those 4 functions, and they created function A, B, C, and D globally, scope, right? And they take function D, and they say function D call function A. Function A's scope is not function D. It's still function. It's still what it was as a global scope function.
So there's a manner to think how it would use.
Right. So this is where it gets tricky, right? Because now, so they're in which they define it gets worse because if I declare in JavaScript, I don't have to declare my functions before I use them. I could declare a function A, and inside put function B, right?
As in, what function B or function?
Declare function B within inside function A.
Right.
Then take function C, and inside function C call function A. Call it, not declare it. Well, inside B, I would define it. In fact, so it's like take function A, right? Inside there, I define function B. Function B equals echo or whatever alert. I'm inside function B. That's the functionality function.
Oh, so you would have physically.
Right. So now inside function C, I decided I'm going to call function B. Not declare it, just call it. Right.
But so is
So it would take.
so and it would still work.
It will work, but you would get, depending on what you've used, function A's scope is, function B's scope is inside of function A, not inside C. So whatever variables are inside of C
are going to be disregarded.
Yes, it will not see them.
So if I were to call function B, it would take the conditions from A and return.
They won't take anything from A.
So you couldn't tell it to use function C's.
Yes, right, and that's right, and then so that's where we're going to get now in terms of understanding the scope and scoping chain and all that sort of stuff in terms of it. That's a basic problem that you have in terms of JavaScript, because as you see when we go back here,
Something to work on.
you see how we define my method here, right? And we assign it to onClick, which is an event handler. We can actually create. This is basically a method, which is a function.
Yeah.
So we've basically assigned a function to another function,
Right.
which is a scoping problem.
Right.
You see,
Oh yeah, because if you try that in JavaScript, you must not be able to.
or something like that, or if this has certain variables inside here, where you assign it here and try to call those variables, it will tell you they're undefined or not available, all sorts of errors because they're not in the same scope.
So
Well, that's just go through. The way you fix it, it depends on how you call it. If you assign it as a variable, or if you assign the function itself as, so you can find it. So this plays an important part in it, right? They have this and self, and I don't know if I go into all the details. I just want you to be aware of it because I think that might be a bit too much for you all at this point, especially since you don't necessarily need to use them. You might be able to get away with the assignments without using that in JavaScript. There's a lot more to it. All right, we'll see. I don't think I did it. Yeah, I don't think I went that far because it's really. Yeah. All right, let's stop muttering and move on. Finish this. So running the scope where they find out in the scope for which they're called. Event functions, event handler functions are different, right? So this first case that we're talking about is, as we saw the OMI method, event handler functions, because they're event handlers, they behave differently. An event handler, we set a value of the HTML attribute, the string, the JavaScript code. We basically define a JavaScript function. This is an anonymous function. This is what we talked about. So it's different from the scope of other normally defined global JavaScript functions that we mentioned above. So event handlers as attributes operate in different scopes than functions. And for this, you should be very thankful. Anyway, so this is where we talk about event handler scope and the scoping chain, right? Right. Head of the scope chain is the call object. The code that implements the event handler is what we talk about. The arguments past the event handler are defined here, and the head of the scoping chain. The next object in the scoping chain is the object that actually triggered the event handler, which is usually the element. So the scope proceeds up the containment hierarchy, and the final scope is the window object, which is the actual window object of your browser, right? And this is always, this is because it's always a client-side JavaScript. So as it goes up, it will actually stop. If it, as it bubbles up, it will stop at the window object, right? So here's an example of the event handler scope. This, so what you see here, this refers to the target element of the event. Okay, so you have the form. So this is the form, right? And you see you have button 1, button 2, button 3, and button 4. It's pretty nice. They're also picky.
No.
Make some break. High contrast. Keep you awake.
Sir,
asleep.
I have turbo eccentric.
Sir, this form thing, what is that? Is that thing put it in the form tag?
The form tag is the form that loves data input.
Oh, okay.
Data input.
And why? Okay, those. So why is it exclamation mark?
Those are comments.
Oh.
Those are HTML comments.
Oh no. Sorry. Oh, I was thinking CSS comments, sir.
HTML comments. Right? All right. So this refers to the target element of the event. All right. So we can refer to a sibling element in the form like this. All right. So you can't. Fine. I'm going to check.
Sorry, I thought you got glasses.
Yeah, you can screen. Yeah, look on your tablet. The red is less stressful. All right. So you can refer to a sibling. Right. So you can refer to a sibling.
This is actually very.
That's so weird.
Anyway, focus, people.
I swear.
Form.
Yeah.
Right. .v2 value. Because you see, it's not referring to its sibling. It's not referring to itself. Right. It's because you're all within the same scope. Now, the target element is also in the scope chain, so we can actually omit this. You don't have to actually mention this because it's also part of the element. So you could say B2 could actually refer to B1 similarly. All right?
But why would we want B2 to refer to B1?
Huh? Because if B1 is a certain value, you will have to restrict. Example, if you enter typical form, country drop-down list, right? And you take Barbados, right? They'll want the cities or cities change parishes, for example. So you want to be able to reference other things in form, right? Okay, all right. The form is in a scope chain. That means because it goes up the hierarchy. So you can actually omit form. You don't actually have to specify form when you're accessing these elements because it will look it will look up the hierarchy to find where before it's being called. So when you say before the value, right, it's going to look and find, okay, it's going to look up and find, search to see if form has a before in it. If it does, it will return. So it'll find it. It won't say undefined because it's part of the scope. Scoping rule. Okay. The document object is also in the scoping chain, so we can use its methods without prefixing them with documents. Because remember, that's almost the last stop, right? The root of the document. So everything that you get element by ID and all those sort of stuff, always in the scoping chain. So you don't usually have, you don't have to say document, not get element by ID, right? You can just say get element by ID, and it will find it. It will find the method because it's all in the scoping chain, right? So that's why you. So this is explaining why you could find B2, even though, because you see this. Remember this on click. On click equals. Let's look at the first one. where ID is B1, on click, alert form B2.value. That is a function. All right? And that's a function that is accessing a variable called B2, form B2, right? So if you were to actually sit and write, where does this form B2 come from? Right? Because there's a variable right there.
For the particular function, for method, wouldn't it be created from that so it technically has is over?
What's that? This?
B2, yeah. The identical thing.
Would it be created and it's that?
Would it be created in the actual function that it has the similar name to? Or?
No, you haven't declared. Remember, you haven't assigned a value. You didn't go form.b2.value equals. You're actually getting a value.
Oh, okay.
Right. You're getting a value.
Okay.
Right? And so what it would say is, and it's looking for a form object too as well, right? Not even looking for. So you haven't declared a form object. You haven't declared a B2 object, right? So if you were to specify something else in here, that's not part of this document, you can trigger undefined. An error. Mm-hmm.
So real particular job.
You would get correct. You're gonna alert same button to us. And vice versa. And when you click button 2, you get a value, same button 1. That's what it is. Because you can see each other, because these values are defined inside of here. Right? So these are in the scope. Because this function, it's looking for this current object. Current object is the form.
Is within.
Yeah. Okay? So this refers to the target element of the event. Right? The event is target element of the event is right. Form. Yeah. Yeah, anyway, right? So having the target, so what have you learned from event handler scope? The next thing event handler scope is not as function, globally defined function. Right? Having the target object in the scope chain of the event handler is useful. Right? So when you're doing the event handler, you want to actually make sure it's there. Having an extended scope change that includes other document elements can be a nuisance, right? Example, the open method, right? Mm-hmm. And the open method can refer to window.open or document.open because they're all part of the scope change, they're all part of it, right? So when you say, if you just use open, like how we said get element by ID back here, right? How we say get element by ID there, that will work because there's only one get element by ID method. Yeah. But if you were to be using like a third-party library that use get element by ID, which they would, right? That could trigger it, but that's not what you get. But however, you have conflicting, you have multiple open methods in different parts of the hierarchy.
This is similar to the report.
Have 4. You have a 4 in HTML and 4 in JavaScript. Similar problem. Okay, yeah. Right is the same problem, huh? Window open and window. I guess window right. They said we write the alert. This will just open a new window, new browser window.
Explain.
No,
what's the question?
What does this do? Window right and window open. That's what you're saying?
Yeah. Oh, just create a new browser.
A new browser window. Yeah. Right. So adding a property called window to a form object would make it impossible to call window open later in an event handler. Yes, if you create a variable called window instead of form, then you can define, you can do window open. Well, you can still use document stuff, but it's not reservable. I don't know, I never tried it. I don't open Windows out. That's all. Let's try it, man. So, moral of the event handlers, be careful when defining event handlers as HTML attributes. And this is an important thing. So when you deal with event handlers, keep the event handlers very simple. Just call a global function defined somewhere else and let that do the part work. Don't define your event handler detailed code and say event handler. Because then you start coming up the scoping chain and the rules. And you get unexpected behaviors, right? So keep the code short to minimize the likelihood that a long scope chain will trip you up. Like I said, remember how so what I was saying is like how you talk about creating a variable called window or creating something like a variable that may be defined elsewhere in the scoping chain. So try to avoid doing anything too fancy when you define the event handler. Let your event handler just call a function, right? And then let that function do all the work, which is assigning the function. And then those scoping rules then follow the let's go scoping rules functions, not event handlers. That will be unclear. And y'all will look at it and y'all will be confused. I just let you know. Right? So assume the scope chain contains only the target element and the global window object. Do not assume properties like action are available. So use form.action instead. So don't presume that certain methods and properties exist when you're using the event handler. So again, this is not talking about enclave equals some function, some function. Yes, right. And then again, and that is when you're defining event handlers as JavaScript code right there, as opposed to calling it create a function. Right? Again, event handler scope, and this is what I was just telling you, only applies to event handlers defined as HTML attributes. Right, let's go back. So I'm only talking about the case when we're doing this kind of thing. Click equals alert, So that's the attribute, and that's the value. You all nod.
I'm trying to see what the value.
The value is a JavaScript code.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this, the quotes, that's the value. Alert, get element, that's right. Which just happens to be JavaScript code, which is a anonymous function. All right. Who has a good explanation of this? You can check the Mozilla Developer Network at the end about scoping rules. They'll have a diagram that will help you understand it better as well. MDN, Mozilla Developer Network. Right? No special scope chain involved with event handler function assigned event handler property. So when you assign a function to it, right, you don't have the scoping chain property. Right? This issue of scoping, the scope chain problem only arises when you do that open brackets and right to your JavaScript code, right? But when you assign, if you say click equals myfunc, right, parentheses, then the scope chain doesn't apply. So wouldn't it just be best to create JavaScript? Which is what I said, which we said back here.
Right.
Keep event handlers simple if you're doing that inline thing. But so as I said, be careful. Keep them simple. Just call, and if you want something fancy, just call a global function. Find out.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So the best thing to do is define a function
and call it,
and then
assign it to your event handler.
And assign it to the event handler.
Yes, and then assign it to the event handler.
Right.
So it makes it easier. So you don't have to come across the scope chain when you do it that way. Right? Mm-hmm. It's really sorry? Yes, that shows you how that gives you an example of scope chain. That is taken out of taken from JavaScript, the definitive value for Emerald. You can find out online right? PDF CJ. So you can go and look at that and tell you if you spend time trying to read that, it's even more than right? Because it's very detailed on how
they have the red background. So they have the red background.
No, it doesn't have a red, it has a white background.
So that's even worse. That's even worse.
It's a bug. Right, but like I said, Mozilla Developer Network and the other things, if you go and do Google search for chain and that sort of stuff, they'll give you that examples. All right, and that's where we stop for JavaScript, and that's as advanced as they will go with JavaScript.
That's active.
Screen sharing has stopped. Shared window is closed.
Sorry, jacket.
All right. Hang on. All right. So I'm changing.
That's Kevin.
That's it. You're the only one there.
You always put on jacket. I don't know who it is.
Thanks everyone for sticking it. Look at you, man. Everybody else hiding.
What kind of jacket is that? Tevin is sleeping in that class, right?
Tevin, good for you, Steve.
No, I mean he don't go to his he don't go home.
That is a baseball jacket.
Oh, you don't go home.
He doesn't go home. Oh, you play baseball
every day.
or you just
Fashion.
what?
Just fashion.
Fashion. So it's fashion.
So you're a fake. So you was a fake man. He was posing.
Mine's a fake fan, man.
Listen, don't try to behave yourself left everyone. All right.
Come on, man. That means the hell the baseball bat.
Okay, don't
What's that? Dante is the one that burning in hell. Who's the one burning in hell? Oh, God.
Burning.
Yeah, that's very.
Sir, he's not burning.
We're not coming
He's what?
Sir, he's not burning.
He's ruling. Oh.
Sir, Satan is just keeping the seat warm.
I was not burning out.
All right. Let's continue before this descends into anarchy.
I thought you would have caught that.
All right. Now, how much time we have left? Don't forget that these videos are going up on YouTube. Try and behave yourselves.
Okay, who is that burning out? It's on it? Oh no, it's Charles. Everybody, what do you burn?
You know burning their houses.
You said something? Never mind.
I going straight to UV administration. I'm trying to get time burning out.
What's this?
Going straight to
Yeah, thank you. I thought you would have caught it though. How could you not have caught that?
You were looking directly at me.
No. No.
He said who it was that was said to be.
Burning in hell.
He was asking if
That was asking Dante.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said, no one is burning in hell. He's ruling hell. Anyway, never mind. Let us move on, please.
Then it would be highly ironic. And he would get the last laugh.
They do this. It's a random discussion every week. They just didn't do it this week because no one's here this week.
I was sick. What
Oh, you
happened?
mean for the support?
You mean that?
Yes,
today?
sir.
Wow.
Like
Oh,
this,
sir,
honestly,
I had to apologize.
Yeah, me too.
I had my driving license.
I had to send myself last.
I was at places in the 24 days.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doctor
And
now.
you were no semester.
I was
I
sick.
still in nothing. I passed, but I got better because it
Alright. So if anybody is offended by the burning in hell comment, I apologize.
Very offended.
You're offended? Sorry.
Extremely offended.
Let us stop and continue.
Yes, sir. Stand up for him.
Right, this is easy stuff compared to all the stuff we just talked about with JavaScript. Exactly, that's why you can skip through all this stuff. Right? You did forms.
Yeah.
Right?
So, sir, this starters will come in.
Yes.
Is it body?
Yes, just in the body.
I was on downstairs. I need to
This.
Probably that's a slide deck 9. Yeah.
And then, so is it? So it's some sound. Is it all the way up to tonight, or is it between?
I'm debating whether I should put it from beginning to.
Sir, honestly,
No.
Class pass.
Right.
That's right. So technically, there's one week over.
But y'all had like 24, 25, or
Sir,
25,
I
or
got
50.
I got 130.
You got 30.
That was like,
I get
You
30.
can't. I mean, most people, most of the class, when you look at the distribution, most of the people, it was like, yeah, a lot of them were around the half mark range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was me. So I'm
Okay.
gonna go over.
Yeah, so it's up, because it's a question bank that I've developed. So I gotta go out through and fix the questions so you don't have those things.
Yeah, that was
very
That's what I was
Yeah,
saying.
but again, that's
That's
a function. That's a function of Russian trade thing.
So only about after 20 minutes I noticed.
You didn't realize that it was
You-
it's supposed to be
We.
It's supposed to be
different.
angled
They
back.
don't notice.
No.
They don't notice.
I know I didn't use them. I was doing my
Every
own
time I saw one, then I see it. Because I say nothing.
All right. So yeah. So
I know I'm doing it.
we'll for all those who and we'll do it from 1 to 9.
Compensation.
There's no compensation.
Compensation.
1 to 9.
I want to know extra.
So the compensation would be you see questions. You should see questions for your parent from the first quiz.
Okay.
So how about-
Well, sir,
how about the
that's
time-
still going on because we can see answers on the first quiz.
Okay, well, so is the time that's the issue? Because
Really,
it's been so long.
I'll increase the time. But you see, I don't want to increase the time too much because then y'all get tempted and we just.
But you can be in here, sir.
I'm not going to be in Mona. Mona.
Well, then don't be here.
Oh, so you want to go to Mona?
You should go to Mona, sir.
Yeah, for
Sir,
real.
if you can't be on one, you can't be here.
That's everything.
That's the thing, sir. It's because it's not the time of the quiz. It's the fact that we have spent so long trying to understand those questions.
I understand.
Also, sir, can't be on one.
It's going to be fair. So I'm not going to come either place. I'm going to set the time so that it's still.
That's fine.
No, sir.
Once the
don't worry,
question-
we say minutes to
Sir,
finish the questions.
Once you verify that the questions come properly,
I
Yeah,
won't be here.
I'm going to verify
I
the
know me.
questions from properly.
I know me.
They go ahead.
No, sir,
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 You can come after.
you will give you an hour for 50 questions?
Yes, you get an hour for 50 questions.
Alright,
That's reasonable. That's doable.
That is.
That's what it will be. It will be an hour for 50 questions. So
I don't come.
Sir, now saying you're coming, so stop saying it and then he
it doesn't matter. Like I said, the question, they're going to be over like 150, 160 questions, of which 50 will be randomly chosen. Yeah, and then you random select 50. So and then the responses are randomized and all that sort of thing. You
Yeah,
see
some
one question at a
hard
time.
questions.
Sir, some of them. Oh, another thing. Some of the questions are the same answer listed. Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm quite sure.
One of lucky, I didn't get none of them.
I didn't have time to look at that.
You talking
I don't
about
think so,
lucky,
because
I
sometimes-
wasn't sure which one was the right one.
I got
That's I choose A
That question
and
twice.
A and B is the same thing, but B is the one that
I can't show that.
Last time I got the same multiple choice answers twice, so I had a different question.
right.
I got the same answer.
That's beyond. That's probably a function thing. I'll check it again. So you see, I do have to be here. I'm
Sorry.
sorry.
So you could be on campus like
Why y'all don't want me here? It's as if you what?
Yeah, why y'all don't want him in?
because, right?
What y'all want to do?
We can be on.
You don't want me to see the pain expressions on
Yes.
your face.
Yes.
So
That is
you
much,
could
sir.
you could call it, you call me last, like ask if this was up, you
Yeah.
here.
Sir,
So
I
you
want.
see, you see
Sir,
our face.
I would rather you
Oh my
see
goodness,
the relief
over.
of my face afterward that you had done than the amount of stress and pain and anguish that I had on my face when I was doing it.
So honestly, I don't have
Plus, I want to be able to explain in shit, what the hell is this?
Wait, I don't understand.
He wants to swear and curse and distract the rest of his
I know.
parents.
Yeah, basically.
Y'all
You
didn't
don't
even hear me
have
laugh.
to do a quiz.
Yes, sir.
Y'all
You
didn't
do it any lap.
Y'all
Doesn't
didn't
matter
hear
if
me
you're
laugh.
This input.
So next class, we're just not coming here. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So let's go through this. All right. Apologies to whoever was listening or watching this recording for the large digressions that this class is foisting upon me. That's it. So just Evan? All right. Okay, that's good. All right. So yes, let's talk about forms. We can do this quickly. Again, this is something you guys are old enough to take. You're old enough to pull, so you're old enough to be able to read this. I think so. Right. So right. So form yes. Input types. It's the input types that control what you see on the screen. The text gives you a text box. This is your little horizontally tall thing to do. Checkbox is checkbox. Submit is a submit button. Is a button that has submit on it by default.
So sorry, we input.
Input type. Input type equals button. We'll just give you a generic button. with no functionality.
And then the name.
And then the name is acts as a variable name.
So we need to put submit the new.
Yeah. So if you put value, so for the submit button, it'll be input type equals submit, name will be the variable that you want to be assigned, because this is data that you're sending to somewhere, right? So the name acts as the variables, and then is an attribute called value, right, which is the actual variable value. So input type name, input type equals submit, name equals form submit, value equals goal, enroll, login, whatever.
My question is, we spoke about submit button, right? How it's called submit stuff. Won't I need an on-click handler?
No. You will need an on-click handler if you're using JavaScript to process the submission, the form submission, right? When you want to do forms, right? The submit button sends the information form to the server, right?
What's the difference between that and JavaScript?
JavaScript is run on the client.
So this would be more suited for if I want to gain access to something.
No, is this. All right, so remember when we talk about JavaScript, remember JavaScript is client-side coding, it makes things more responsive and all that sort of stuff. That's what we're using JavaScript. In order for JavaScript to handle form data, which we'll see later, right, you use the event handler on submit to capture the form data on the client, right? But remember we talk about returning false from the functions and all that sort of stuff to stop the default processing of an event handler. The default processing for clicking on submit button is to submit the data to the server somewhere, right? So that's usually what submit does. If you return false on click event handler, it will not do the form submission, right? So contains form this data. The form parameters tell JavaScript how to send the information to the server, right? You can also do that through the on submit and that sort of stuff. Okay, so I can skip this, make pages smarter. This is all that we talk about.
This third point.
Fonts can be used for other things such as a
No, the third point.
Third, tell JavaScript how to send the information to the server. There are two different ways it can be sent. Post and get. We're going to talk about. All right. HTML form, application import. Right, so this stuff, point 3, we could use JavaScript to enhance HTML forms. Again, that's the usability thing. You know you all are being recorded, right? You do see this. Yes. Okay, all right. So, of all the hash JavaScript, where its form processing features are the most sought and used? Yeah.
Sorry, someone asked if our budget, if we can
Didn't she say that she wanted us to have creativity?
Yeah, she wanted us to be creative. Yeah, but this is an assignment. That's the assignment.
Oh.
Let me think about that, because I know y'all got to get dressed grabbing them, but not really.
Budgetize and see why.
All right, this is a fair question.
I'm assuming you'll get back on this one.
Yeah, I got 7. Y'all aren't receiving any emails from that new e-learning site, right? No, they're not receiving anything.
What?
The e-learning site that we did our test on.
Yeah, you don't get any emails from that. No. All right, I got to figure out what's going on there.
So, were we supposed to?
Yeah, I tested it. Sorry.
There was one of those things in that lab 6 or something.
Yeah, I said, yeah, that lab 6 is also on that, so that students who don't have.
Yeah, I saw it.
Right. So but that was sent from Cape Hill.
Oh.
So it was sent from Cape Hill to tell you guys, to tell those who still don't have access to it. All right, so this is where we talk about now JavaScript and form processing. The common gateway interface. This is a way of sending data from the client to the server, right? And this is what you had to code in. You had to use a common gateway interface to actually send data from a browser to the server back in the good old days when the web was young. People were becoming millionaires from doing form processing. Yeah,
It must be nice.
The .com bubble. No, because you couldn't do form processing. You have to write Perl scripts to do form processing, right? How many you've heard of Perl?
Perl?
Yeah.
Heard of it.
Right. Yeah, Perl. Yeah, Perl is a parsing language, right? Because the Common Gateway Interface defines the way the data is transported. So you have to be able to break up the pieces and understand what data is being sent, separate the headers and all that sort of stuff to determine the response on both pages. So it's not trivial. So you have to actually get your hands on dirty, understand. You have to actually understand the hypertext transfer protocols in order for you to actually handle response, right? So yeah. So you can process simple forms without using the server, right? Which is what we're talking about. And then we submit a form to a CGI program. The CGI program, you will still see, people don't use CGI programs very much. You don't see it. People use Python, PHP.
What's CGI stand for, sir?
Computer gateway.
Common gateway.
You mind us on it then?
I just did the graph thing, so you see. That's why you got talking 12 increments and then you go.
That's what I was thinking.
Thank you, Sakate. I'll wait till you ask your next question. Don't worry. Don't worry.
For y'all. Okay.
First
Right.
question asked full class. Very good fit, you know.
Let us move on. Right? All right. So when submit a form to a CGI program, you can have JavaScript take care of preliminary requirements such as validating input. Right? But validating input is the trivial part of the equation, right? Because like I said, the CGI is the hard part. But fortunately for us, the server on the back end will be running something like PHP, what else? ASP, Python, any kind of server-side language. And the server-side language actually does this. So validation of input using JavaScript is, to minimize it, we say trivial. It is trivial simply because you can also do the validation on the server side. Use the server side processing anyway.
So, and then JavaScript. What else could you use for validation?
Besides Java,
Yeah.
if on the client side,
Yeah.
well, any other client side, it would be JavaScript. It's whatever other client side program language. Yeah.
Well,
JavaScript.
like an email address. If you have to make sure that's a valid email address, just use construction. Without using JavaScript, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, though, no way. Hang on. HTML5 has an email.
Yeah, that's some input and validation, but I don't know for email.
Yeah, I don't know if it's an email type now, yeah. Right? So JavaScript form connection uses JavaScript form object, content, and so on and so on. Right? Okay. So as we know, JavaScript allows pages to do stuff. Right? They call it active scripting. They call it that, but that's what it's called, where we allow make HTML more user responsive, right? If you use forms without JavaScript, you might ask me a question. You could use you don't have to use JavaScript to do form processing. Like I said, you can send it straight to the server. Okay? But doing it helps the form become more responsive. Okay? Right? So here's some. Right, text box with text. You can do radio, which is radio button. So selecting my choice is the submit for submit button. All you got to do is change your 3 schools for the types, and you have those there as well. Okay. Now, when you're doing form processing with JavaScript, you should always name your form. Right? Remember we were looking at school chain example. The form didn't actually have a name, we just used form, right? But what you should do is when you're dealing with it, you should actually name the form so you can reference the object in JavaScript. Okay? Okay? Now the form has arguments. Arguments are action, which is right, which is yes, which is the resource that is going to be called on the server. Resource that's going to be called on the server, right? And you see it's a URL. So if you don't specify, you don't have to specify HTTP, all that sort of stuff, right? Because if your code is if the script is on the same server that's fed this page to you, then you just put the name of the script there, which is usually the case. Understand? right? So method get, which is the default. This is we were talking about how the data is sent. You have get, and I think we talked about post, right? So get is the default. So if you don't specify a method, if you don't specify the method attribute, right, the form will be sent in through the we call it the thing we bobs you at the top of the browser.
The search bar?
Oh, not a search bar. The query, what do we call it?
Website.
The URL bar. Yes. The entry box. This is really important. Which you're trying to remember, right? Right, and it's sent. You'll see the question mark with a bunch of things after all. You all noticed that before.
Yeah.
Right. There's an actual thing for it. It's what you call a query. I call it a query string.
It's not to keep it.
Where?
Sorry, no.
You sure?
Okay.
Right. Right. So the query string is appended at the end of the URL. The question. Someone say something. Oh, mic on. All right. Right. So the query string. Right. So when you go to Amazon, Facebook, all of them, you see these. You see query string. You see these big long this big long set of data. Right. That's them basically sending stuff using the get method. Now, the only user data is ASCII. Now, I don't know, but it's not more than 100 characters. I have to check that for sure. I don't believe that's. I know there's a limit, but I don't believe the limit is 100 characters.
So what? The computer would have to automatically translate it to ASCII.
No.
So
You have to send it. You have to URL. They call it URL encoding. You actually have to take whatever data you have in URL encoded, so you can send it as a query string. So it converts it to ASCII first. Let's move on, shall we? Right? Now the other option of method of posting is this. Oh, I heard it. With get, right? All the data is sent in the browser bar, right? So you can browser whatever, not browser window, whatever you call that. It's not a search. Search bar.
Is there more than
The URL. Yeah. The URL window text bar. Address bar. Thank you. See? The URL address bar, right? So that was an ordeal. And nobody, what you're talking about? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and nobody can remember his address.
So what I just said later because
Well, that's how you got it.
What?
That part. That's half a brown mint.
I didn't know. Credit.
Let us move on, shall we?
You can get prosecuted.
All right. So
No.
if you use the get method, it's
we are in class.
Sorry.
He's disrupting the class.
yes. Yes, I'm sure. All right. When the method get is used, right? When the get method is used, those queries could be cached by Google and other search engines.
Oh yeah.
So you don't send sensitive information in a query string, right? Credit card information,
So
password,
how would that be?
login
So
information.
anything
that would be kind of straight up.
Send it using post. Yeah. Because it can't be bookmarked by most browsers. Right? They can't track. So when the data is sent, it's not stored as a query string. Anything that's stored as a query string can then be recalled later, because all you have to do is plug the query string and it will recall the resource from the server. So because that's what query string is. It's querying. It's asking the browser for information based on these parameters.
Wait, so sorry, is that what happens when I start typing in an address for our website and it automatically
No, that's just cache. That's cache.
Oh. So cookies.
Cookies different deal. Okay, right? Now this is just, you type it out and you could replay it and retrieve it because it's making a query to resource. Right? The post is not sent the post is sent behind the scenes in the request. Right? So you'll be able to see, so when you post data to server, you'll be able to see it in your browser only through your web developer tools. You have to see the data that is posted. But that's not something you'll be able to see in the address bar. Right? Target, blank, or top, that tells you where to open a new window. Right? So here's an example. We name the form, right? There's no action. Action means it would just call itself back, right? Method, what does it call itself back? It just, yeah, whatever script is called, we'll call it again. So wherever this is defined, we'll just call it back. So if it's in HTML, we'll call it index. Send this information in HTML. Right? So that's a text box, and that's a button that does not, well, see the button value is click, and then it has function defined for it. Right? Because other than that, function has no functionality. The button has no functionality. Okay? Yes, it's just visual. Only if you have a hand.
So this all in the body. This in the bodies.
This is in the body. Yeah.
So even if it doesn't do anything, but you say, okay, show, that you were clicked, as in like show feedback you were clicked, that would require a hand.
It would require a hand. Because the button by itself, if I just said, if I type button and stop and then find a handle for it, when you click on it, it do nothing.
So it will be.
I mean, like just showing that it was clicked.
It will show visually that it's clicked. Yeah,
So
so
that's
by
like-
press.
Right, that's what I meant.
That's the how it's supposed to respond to it, but
Yeah.
it doesn't.
All right, and this is again we were just talking about button defines a button object, right? Text results, net handler, we did all of that already. Right? So how do you get something? How do you load a page? You get something from the text box, you click the button. So this is a more complete example, right? We create a function, which is our event handler function up there in the function test results, right? So you see we then have it as our event handler as we were talking about, right? And you see this keyword right here. Is it there?
Yes, this stuff.
This dot form, right? Which refers to this dot from the object. Right? That's why it's referring to this dot one. So this one. Okay? So this one would actually now display, it gets it. You see it takes form as its parameter, but it's expecting the form object. Right? So it takes form, input box value, and prints out whatever variable is set. So if you enter something in the box, you enter quiz 1 is next week, which is not, it's quiz 2 that's next week. Correct. No, not next week.
You never gave a date.
Yes, she did. They changed it. Oh, changed it from, yeah. Because you said 2 weeks is too soon, and you changed it.
Oh, it was, wasn't it?
It was not for the classes, not for the quiz that he said it.
That was not required.
Sir, you said.
Yes, actually, it's too
I
soon.
recorded
Someone-
it.
No, you did not.
I was just wondering, somebody said it was too soon, and then you were
It
like,
is
yeah,
too
it's
soon.
too
Yeah,
soon.
it's not.
So that's not funny. That's
Is
not
it?
funny.
Very funny.
You don't put it like that.
All right. When's your birthday? The second. See? What will the next quiz be on everything?
Yes, the even questions that was on the last quiz will come back.
We'll come back, yes.
I'm just still beyond memorize. I mean, study.
Right? Yes. So yes, questions that were on last quiz will appear properly formatted this time. Right? But so it'll be from slides 1 to 9.
Oh.
1 to 9 with questions from 1 to 6 will appear. Right? You got it. Right? So you see how this works? On click is a function that we assign to the event handler. Test results. Right, test variable.
That's where equal form equal
Oh.
test not value.
Right. Which is the value. So we got the value, right, input text value, which it got from here. Yeah. Right? So JavaScript calls the test results function. When you click the button, the test results function is passed the form object using the syntax this form. Right? When you're talking about this keyword we talked about, the form object has the name form inside the test result because that's the variable that you created. Right? Form, you see test results, form is parameter, form is variable. And so that could then, that's the form object that got passed to it. Right?
You have to say script language.
You don't have to.
Okay.
Sir, I'll go to value here.
Where
Input type text name input box value.
it's empty.
Wait, so
Right.
So why
Yeah.
is it still there?
It's there, but you don't.
It's like for referencing.
No, yeah, but you don't need it. You don't
Could
need
you
it because
anything
JavaScript.
else where you put
Because
it on
JavaScript, right, value is empty, right, you need it because you're capturing data. Capturing value.
Right. But you know how usually when you enter something like has a
Yeah, that's a different.
Please don't make me feel bad after that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So, for example, like when you go into Amazon, Google, one of the things, and have like the word kind of grayed out search. If I put that there, would it be grayed out? You can still type over?
No,
There's the actual text.
Yes.
Okay. Because I was wondering that the other day, how do you actually do that? Just
There's an attribute that allows you to do that.
Okay.
I can't remember what it's called.
I'll look for it.
This is not so question.
Even it is.
Didn't ask that.
All right. Let's see what else. So that's the example. Setting the value in a form object. So again, we talk about setting values of elements. It's the same deal, right?
Yeah.
You can do it in JavaScript, like just accessing the value property and that sort of stuff. Okay, so it's the same deal here as you saw, right? That's vargas form thing. And you can read text, write text. So you see input box value, and it assigns a value to it, right? Here in write text. It passes the form, and it updates it.
I don't see that have a nice day. Where is it?
Where is it? Enter something, right? So let's see. Let's step through it in the box. So we have input text box value, value read or write. So you see the read up box. It starts with enter something in the box, which is a right. Okay.
Yeah.
With a read and write button, which is your default HTML. Now when you actually, yeah. So right. So you enter something in the box. Last two is also next week, right? If you click the read button, right? If you click the read button, it will call the read text function, right? And it will just spit out you typed, right, Mark? Okay. Now, if you click the write button, it will call the write text function, which will change the value to have a nice day. But yes, they don't have to have a nice day as answer there. Right? So that explains what you just said. Okay? Right? And we talked about this. Read in other form object values.
It's only 10:30. Yeah, we have 22 minutes now.
Okay. So we done? No.
How many more slides?
I don't know.
I gotta run to go.
No, you don't.
Yeah, they have a free flea market and they're giving away food. I go with my friends.
Listen, how do you do sit down, stand up, and record this in class? You're going to get free food. What kind of thing is that?
Look at this one. The university life on
All right.
You meant to about bring a bag. You get.
Now it's off.
Oh. What happened?
See, look at this. Look at this. So they said bring a bag and you get something. Everybody was like, bag. I gotta take a garbage bag and stuff.
Got disconnected.
Right, first of all, I'm going right down. Okay.
Turn it on.
It's on. I'll turn it on.
There we go.
Alright, cool. Let me just make sure.
There we are.
Alright, there we go.
All right, let's move on.
Alright.
Thanks. Okay, so checkbox, text area, select, hidden. Those are some of the different types you have. Hidden means it doesn't actually display the variable in the browser.
So that'll be you see in source code.
Yes, you will see it in the source code. Type radio is the one you have the radio buttons. You can select one. Checkbox is you can select multiple. You can actually select more than one with radio as well. Yeah, radio with type radio, each value will have to be a different value. So you use radio buttons for yes, no.
Okay.
So it'll have the same variable name. So it'll be input type name answer. Value, and then it'll be answer value equals yes, or name value name answer value equals no. If you have the same name, same variable name, it will toggle between yes and no.
Oh, okay.
If you have different variable names, the radio button will act as a checkbox for you to select multiple.
Oh,
Right? Listen, it was the last time I did that. Yeah.
Why is it? Oh, I know our radio button is not circle.
Circle one.
Why is it called radio button?
Because radio, early days radios, if you ever, you never saw Bloomberg radio to change channels, you gotta think you just press the button and then follow and switch stations. So you can program stations in your radio and press those buttons. And when you press one, the rest will go on.
Oh, I know you have a tuner.
Yeah, so you had the tuner, right? And you pick the chains and just presets. Like how you have the presets.
Oh, you
on.
just sign presets.
Yeah, you sign it,
okay.
you press those, and it will go right and change the settings. Yeah. Right? That's not when you hold it up. What can happen? What can happen when
Oh,
you
so
don't even know what it
this
is?
is the one. This one.
The list. So that's the drop-down list, right? So we have select by itself. It will just give you the drop-down list by itself, right? If you have select, and I think there's an attribute you said, I can't remember, multi or something like that, then you have the open text box where you could scroll up and down and do multiple selections, right?
So, sir,
Mhm.
the first tree has type and then you don't really know
Right.
and then
Right.
you know you got text and whatever in signals as well.
Right.
So
Input type, input type, input type. This one's just text area, and this one's just select
so that's
option.
input select.
No,
It's
select.
just select.
Mhm. Right? So hidden text boxes, just like regular text boxes, same properties and methods, but they're hidden, which we just talked about. Radio buttons allows the user to select one from a group of options. Like I said, that only works if you have the same variable name for each one. That's how it used to work, but I haven't used it lately, but that's how it used to work. If you use different variable names, it will behave as a checkbox. Right? Yeah, right. So if you want to select multiple, use checkbox instead.
And it's like I do click a regular
Right. So if it's selected, you can click. Checkboxes you can click and unclick. Right? Where else? So first button is 0. Right. Right. We have. Let's go there. So radio. You see, it's all the same name. Right. Not 0, right? But yes. They have different values, so you know you click with your button 1, 2, or 3. Right? So this one, radio button, name rad button click, right? Text button, I don't know why it has, well, that's obviously an error, because that should be on click, text button form, right? And then it checks to see if it's checked, right? If it's checked, then break, and then you count, see which one is correct.
Oh, so when it check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when it's checked, and then you'll be able to get the value from it.
So,
Wait, but the second one is
so if the
selected.
first one selected set but the 0 is selected.
It will say, but the 0 selected.
It'll say about 0. Because 0, 1,
Oh,
2
yeah,
is
you're
not
in that
1,
1,
2.
2.
Yeah, 0, 1, 2.
Oh, you don't know.
Yeah.
The second is
We said so back here. I lost it. There. First button in the series is numbered 0, the second is numbered 1, and so forth. So 0
It's
index.
like, it's a
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right, so that was the example. We saw how it worked, right? So button. So just to make sure you understand how the for loop works in there,
Yeah.
right?
Basically, a word like for you in Java.
Yeah, it's the same for loop. It's the same C for loop.
I see a break in the sponsor.
Right. So that's basically saying if once they find it, if the first one was done, no break just stops breaks out of the for loop. So it'll just break out the for loop and do the next. Form the next statement after the for loop.
Because you know how it goes.
When the
That's where you usually go through until the whole thing is
Yeah. What's this?
when the overmarket.
This one? Just for the for loop. So it runs this statement for 3 times. Well, a maximum of 3 times. 0, 1, and 2. So that's what these almost were versus the for. What happened?
They laugh at this Kraft mac and cheese, sir. I don't know
I'm
why.
laughing at my lunch.
Yeah, okay. So that was when we were testing if a button was selected. Right? And like you said, the for loop cycles through all of the buttons in the rad group, and then finds one selected, it breaks out of the loop and displays the button number. Right? That's not markup. Oh, for goodness sake. Right? So radio button. If you want to set one as checked from the beginning, you just set it. You just set the checked value
Like it's default.
by default, right? So you can say by default, you know, the answer is always yes. So, you know, well, you can do the same thing for check boxes.
But
Right.
you have one.
You have both, right? Yeah, you have one default click, but you have others that are unclick. So you could have that click by default, and if the person doesn't want that, then they can click the others. It will unclick the default. Right? Checkboxes are again standalone. That is don't interact with neighboring elements. So like how radio buttons will interact as a group, where checkboxes don't. So you can check it. So it doesn't matter if the one next to it in the group is checked. It's checked as well, right? So you can check the. You can also check the check property to see if it's checking. Okay. So here's the example. This is more or less the same code we saw before. Now we create ourselves 3 checkboxes, different names, right? And you should have different names simply because you want to be able to, because multiple checkboxes to be checked, so you want to know which one, right?
So certain value will come up with the most.
The value? No, I don't think I ever see the value. But I don't know if to have that one, but it doesn't. I can't remember if it does. You could try it and see.
Yeah, that's right. This is related to forms in a way. I don't know.
Not related to forms. It is forms. Sorry, it's all forms. It is all forms.
That's the question. Right. If it's regards to how what you can do with it implementing CSS. Like what I could do. Could I, for example, change the yes.
Yeah. I think you can change. You can change the representation.
Does you see how modern website is?
Yeah, you can change them in this checkbox. I can't remember.
Okay, but I would. So sir, let's say
schools
so sir, let's say I wanted to change the name of checkbox. Sorry, do you have the name?
Not there for the
value. Check one. Right, that's the actual text and that's the checkbox. Yeah.
So okay, so what would I? Let's say I want to open CSS and change the color.
You can then you style it. Yeah, you can create a class and you can style the checkbox. And then there you'll be able to change everything from the tip and all that. Check means that it has been. It has a check.
Oh, that's what the alert is. The alert will be check.
No, the alert will show
check
form. So with the alert, it will say, all right, so let's go through and see what it says. Right. So what it will say is that will return either true or false.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Form check one dot check. True. Form check one, yeah, but it's not check, so it's false.
But where's that? Where that?
Window alert form dot check one dot check.
Oh,
that'll be false. So you get alert and you see false.
Okay, that's funny. So that automatically. Oh, that's a JavaScript thing we've written outside.
So you have to certain browsers don't require you to have script as script.
You don't have to say language JavaScript. You have the script. You have to have the script.
You have to have script.
Yeah. So you either have script source and where the JavaScript is, or script where the actual JavaScript.
So it's like Windows alert will automatically deliver true or false.
No, Windows alert is going to display whatever this value is in there.
Oh.
right? So form, remember we passed the form. This doesn't have it. Where's the on click? I don't have the on click in here.
Yeah,
oh, here it is. Right?
Okay.
On click text button this form. Right? So it passes the form. Now form looks to see if check 1. It's checked. If it was checked, it would say true. Form 1 dot check is not checked, so it would say false. Alright. Okay, text areas. So text areas allow you to do multiple text, multiple issues, so that way you can get your, you know, when you're all doing comments and all that sort of stuff, or ask questions. These are text areas. So let's find the rows and columns, right? And that you're able to then access it like that.
Here's some blah blah text.
Right. Yep. So that's how you define it. Input type, there's your button again. Text area is my area. Columns 40, rows 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It displays. Should this one or 1? I guess it's not text rows, it's the rows in terms of the browser. Has the columns as well. Right. So see text area of this form. Right. Alert form my area dot value. So if I click if you click test, then you'll see the alert. The alert will then say show you all this.
Sir, what if I wanted to have the alert show up for multiple?
Then you have to have.
Would I have to use multiple alerts?
I think so.
There's no other way to make that a little bit more efficient.
Not don't use alert. Because alert is a dialog box. Dialog box is a dialog. That's basically what it is. So it brings the message and has OKR.
Okay. Yeah. So what if you do not for budget things?
It will be annoying.
It's not zero dollars.
Okay. So alert is not. If you need multiple things, it's best to either make it one message or try to find make a CSS pop-up box or something like that. All right. Okay. Text areas, you can preload text in text areas, right? So that way you could actually have some default things. But again, that's not the grayed out. That's not the grayed out stuff that you were talking about. Yeah. Right. That's just predefined text. Okay. That's basically it. List boxes, for instance, the selection, the drop-down list, right? You use a select tag, you have options, so you have to have the options that specify what's inside the select tag. Let's open and see an example. Here. All right, let's go back and see what it actually says. Right, so there's no input type, like I said, there's not input type select, it's select, and then the options that you want to select from, we specify in the option tag. Right? So you can have it multiple items at once, so you can have it showing one at a time. Usually, right, so usually when you click the drop down, then it'll show you the whole list. But by default, when it's up, you'll only see the one item that's selected. Right? Okay, so items return, again, is 0 index. Right? And if no item is selected, default value is -1. So you use the select index property to detect which one is selected. Right? And here's the example. Right? Select. You see we have the select named list. Size is 3. Right? So it will show 3 of them at once. Right? If you don't specify the size, then it will just show the one. You'll click the arrow, and then it would drop down and show you all. Right? Item 1, 2, and 3, and then again, test select function, and you select index. Right? Oh, my battery's running low. And then it will display the index. Okay. How much time I got on this?
About 5 minutes.
All right. See if the battery dies. Okay. If you want to text from a selected list, right? So instead of using the index, you use a following. You get the select index, which gives you the item, and then you actually use the text property, right? So you actually my thing is down. So my computer has died, and that's the end of the presentation. Hang on.
Yes, me.
Bye, Tevin.
Wait, no, let me finish this. Don't wave, Kevin. Do not.
Don't leave Tevin. Don't leave Tevin. Tevin, do what you want. Do what you want, Tevin. Don't let them control your life. Do what you want to do. Sir, not done yet, Tevin.
I just want.
This is not this lazy. I do.
We can see if we can boot it back up. Because it might take 5 minutes to even reboot, so.
Sleep, wake up, ask a question about these things. So you never know whether you're sleeping, they didn't see. You were not on that so you got up.
Who's that?
Yeah, look
If
at
the
boy.
man got a sister,
Pick somebody on this side and ask a question. And so I was like, you wouldn't know where you start messaging, but next one down.
Alright, we'll see if we can get that back up. Like I said, I want to get this go through.
Sometimes you're like, oh, this thing person asked going on.
No, there's this sleeping here and just
Interrupted.
Yeah, man.
so it's done.
No, we're shaking. Seven fifty.
Yeah.
Bye, Tevin. Now, bye.
Alright.
I guess we're done for real now. Bye.
Yeah, so true.
That's not true, Tevin. That's not true. They're still going on. They're just trying to trick you, dog. Don't believe them. Don't believe them. Don't believe them.
Even if it is.
Baseball for what, man? Stop making it closer.
Leave the battle alone. Oh, there it is. That sucks. That was fast.
You ever had a baseball before?
Leave.
You ever want to baseball before?
Yes.
You think that? Don't ask the man about piercing. I don't judge.
I asked him about piercing. Yeah, whatever.
I was at work and I hit it. Somebody asked Tevin if he got piercings. I was like, what?
That might
That
be
was so
It was either
random.
Antonio or no.
It was me. I asked everybody if they had.
I only hear you ask one.
I don't even ask him.
I asked a lady too. No
I
one.
didn't say you didn't. I didn't say you didn't. I said you asked a man and a woman.
Yeah. And she was in the class, so I had to-
Shenanigans.
I was so confused. You see, Tevin, they're trying to trick you, dog.
In class now.
Know your worth, Tevin.
Right. Let's just finish this. I'm trying to see how many. I know how many slides I have left.
None of that.
Hang on. All right, don't bother. Right.
Who, you want Kayla?
So last set. Let's see how we go. This set of slides is just to talk about the events. We did event handling already, so on focus, on blur, and so on. Right? It's the same deal. Okay. All right. Let's just finish. Right? So the other events inside the form, you can have in Sim, so you can just do a quick search up, see what they are. And that's it. I told you we should finish. So we did HTML forms, we did JavaScript for forms, and we are done.
You see, Tevin, I told you I was done the whole time.
All right, folks. I'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
I was.